Hi everyone, Igor here from Vinous Reverie, the shop for the adventurous wine drinker. And I want to give a little overview about the club selections for May, both for the Adventurous Club and for the High Society Club. Another great set of selections, so let's get started. All right, the first one, it's from the Duval Winery in the Wagram region in Austria. Very interesting grape, Frühroter Veltliner. It's not related to Gruner Veltliner, which is kind of Austria's most renowned grape. It's a grape that's less than 1% of all the vineyards in Austria are dedicated to this grape, and actually they're making less and less of this grape. It's a cross between another Veltliner, Roter Veltliner, and Sylvaner. Low acid grape, kind of ripens early. There's very few great examples of it, but this one is really nice. Wine Enthusiast gave it 92 points. And I think it's once again a great introduction to all these indigenous beauties from around the world. And Duval Winery, as far as I know, is the only winery that makes 100% Frühroter Veltliner that's actually imported into the United States. So this is a really fun example of the wines right here. So it's this one right here. All right, another great wine. This is the first one that could be qualified as both an orange wine and a natural wine. It's from the Stekar Winery in Slovenia, right on the border from the Friuli region in Italy. And it's interesting, once again, these smaller Eastern European countries, their quality of wine is just becoming better and better all the time. Both orange wine and natural wines could be hit or miss, but I think this is an excellent example of both. Like I said, orange wine and natural wine. If you kind of look at it, it's very murky. There's a lot, it's unfiltered, so there's a lot of sediment in there. There's nothing wrong with sediment. It doesn't ruin the wine. If you don't like the sediment, you could either decant it or let the bottle stand, let the sediment settle down before you pour. That way, most of the sediment is going to be at the bottom of the bottle. But beautiful wine. It's they call it CV Pinot, which is Pinot Gris. And this winery, like I said, very minimal intervention. This is a family that has been making wine since the 1980s. A very beautiful example of this wine. And this is one of those wines, once again, that it's mostly sold on the East Coast. I was able to get it here, and I'm like, hey, this is going to be awesome for the wine club. Just another beautiful selection. So, try it out if you want to be adventurous. This is definitely the wine for you. But then again, all these wines are for you on that end. Another great wine, Piedroso. This is from the Campania region in the southern Italy, right around the town of Naples. So you could say it's like a Neapolitan wine. Piedroso, one of not that many red indigenous varieties, but one of those that are being rediscovered right now, even though it's an ancient variety. It's technically translated into pigeon's foot, because the way the clusters form in the grape, it looks like pigeon's foot. And yeah, it's a really refreshing, bright wine that showcases, it's not overbearing. So for, I think, on a nice hot summer day, this is a great wine to enjoy. It comes from volcanic soils. A wine that I particularly like. I love volcanic-based soils wines, and Italy's got a lot of these indigenous grapes. What's the fun part? If I can digress for a minute. This is from a single vineyard site, high elevation, volcanic soil, ideal condition. And it's a wine that just retails for less than $20. It fits right in our $40 Adventurous Club. I just recently read an article about Alder Yarrow. He's a contributor to JessieRobinson.com, and he has his own vinography, a very popular blog that's right here. He's based out of Northern California. And recently he did an assessment of 75 Napa wines, mostly cabs, and he said something that I think I've said in the past almost ad nauseum. The average price of those wines was $113. He said of the 75, 25 he did not even want to mention in the article because they were subpar, to say the least. And a lot of the others, he was basically implying that there might have been a few great examples. The other 50 were not great examples. They just kind of made the cut of not being kind of embarrassing in the quality. But basically, the implication is they're overpriced for what they are. And he was kind of saying that Napa is outpricing itself, which I believe so too. And I think that this is a spectacular contrast to wines from that region. Walter Speller from justicerobinson.com gave this 17 points, which is equivalent of like 92 points on the scale. And like I said, there's no Napa wines that get 92 points and sell below $20. They don't exist. So spectacular wine, a great value, like we typically try to bring it in. And I think, fits all the molds. Pioneering winemakers, indigenous grapes, just showcasing the whole beauty of the wine world. All right, so that's a little spiel on that. The next one, also from the Bourgueil region. It's a commune within Loire Valley, along with Chinon. This is a commune specializes in Cabernet Franc. And this guy is also very natural. He's certified biodynamic, low interference, so he makes these beautiful Cabernet Francs. So I think, if you guys never had a Loire Cabernet Franc, this will be a great example to showcase that. All right, so next, really the fun wines of the High Society Club. And this, I don't know if you guys ever heard collectible terms. Sometimes I think of wines like Mouton Rothschild, a first growth Bordeaux, that retails for probably over $1,000, probably close to $2,000 a bottle. And they make 25,000 cases of it a year, which is more cases than a lot of the villages in France make. And then they call them, collectible items. They can't even sell everything out, and yet they call it collectible. But nonetheless, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think this is actually a collectible item. So this is a winery from Nani Copi, and it's made by Giovanni Ascioni, who's a wine journalist. And he found this is from the Campania region in southern Italy, so in the vicinity of Amalfi Coast. And he wanted to showcase that a lot of these indigenous varieties are not just rustic, that they could have a finesse and elegance like some of the best Burgundy wines. And this is kind of his example of this. So this is made from the indigenous red grapes of the region, Palagrello Nero, a little bit of Aglianico, and a little bit of this very rare red grape, Castavecchia. There's actually a legend about the last grape, Castavecchia, that it was found in the ruins. One single vine was found in the ruins, and then from there they started to cultivate more and more of it. But even now it's very rare, so a small percentage of that wine goes into this wine. Got 18 points from Walter Sparrow at justicewine.com, which is 95, 96 point on a 100-point scale. And we retail this for $53. Just to contrast, just as an example I gave you, $113 wines that are not worthwhile buying. This is a spectacular wine, and why this is the collectibles item is because the winemaker, Ascioni, he decided to stop making this wine after 10 vintages. So the 2016 vintage, this one, is the last vintage he's going to make. Like I said, a spectacular wine. Actually, on the product page to our website, you could read Forbes magazine's overview of this wine, and it is spectacular. Once you guys read it, you'll understand why anybody who drinks this wine falls in love with this wine. So once again, it's very rare. I have a few bottles left that's not part of the club. If you guys are interested in more, let me know. I'll see if I can get more in distribution. And the same thing, he also makes a Fiano, barrel-aged Fiano grape, which is the great white grape of the Campania region. Very rare, and obviously he stopped the production of that one. So that's the 2018 vintage. Both retail for $53. I don't have the other one in stock, but I can see if I can still get it. So if there's interest for these two, I think spectacular, unique, and like I said, collectible wines, let me know. All right, and then finally, from Lopez de Heredia, Crianza Tempranillo. So the Heredia sisters are making this wine, and if you guys are not familiar with this wine, they're kind of the traditionalist. So what that means is they have the traditionalist school and the new school. The new school likes to use smaller, new aged oak barrels. The traditionalists like to use the bigger barrels that are neutral. That means they've been used. So they kind of want to showcase the fruit. And let me give you a brief overview about the aging system. So this is a crianza. So crianza in Spain means you have to spend at least 1 year in barrel. Then you have reservas, which means you have to spend at least 3 years in barrel. And then Gran Reservas, meaning you have to spend at least 5 years in barrel before you release it, release the wine. So those are the minimum standards. So this wine just hit the American shores a month ago, and it's a 2012 Crianza. So you can tell the wine spent 8 to 9 years in barrel when it was only supposed to spend 1 year in barrel before it was released. So that's the philosophy of the winery. You release the wine when it's ready to drink, not to give it to the consumer so they can put it in the cellar when it's ready to drink. So Lopez de Heredia, the most famous traditional winery in Spain. And so of the traditionalists, these guys are the gold standard, and this wine retails for less than $30. Once again, comparing it just to the anecdote I said with the Napa wines, it's almost crazy to think how funny it is. You have these spectacular wines, they get 95 points. The wine got 95 points from James Suckling, and then Napa wines that the writers don't even want to write about because they're not that good. Just contrast how funny the wine world is and how it's full of these unbelievable wines that are just looking for people to discover them. So once again, you got an awesome collectible item and just a classic Rioja in the high society club. So I think it's a pretty cool overview about these fun wines. So if you're in the club, I hope you guys will enjoy them. And if you guys are not in the club, join the club, or you just pick up these wines, because I think they're a great selection of great wines from all over the world. So remember, drink different. Thank you guys. Bye.